There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to a crystal clarity. For the next 90 minutes, sit quietly, and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from my inner mind to the outer limits.
When I was a kid, I could make it snow. I could make the wind blow. I could make it go from dawn to a starry night like that. I could shrink down to the size of a Scotty dog on the Monopoly board. On cue, I could make walls disappear and windows fly into the air. I could make it snow every night at 10:15 at Christmas time on stage just by singing the Christmas waltz. Sing, snow. Sing, snow. Whew. What manner of power is this? Sometimes we look at life through a telescope to make sure we get the big picture. Other times we peer at it through a microscope so we don't miss any of the details. I have spent most of my life looking at life through a kaleidoscope. Emphasis on the word collide. See, that's what happens when reality and fantasy bump into each other like thunderheads. See, I was raised on TV, literally. My family, we had this musical variety television show back in the 1960s called The King Family. I was 6 years old. There was 39 of us. I was living this kaleidoscopic life 24/7. Here, let me give you an example. In this first sketch, I'm the whiny little kid doing this bit with my mom, my dad, and my brother Rick.
Hooray, I won again! I'm the new Monopoly champ!
Stop bragging, will you, Cam?
Let's play another game!
Oh, not tonight, honey. It's time you went to bed.
Oh, Mom!
No argument, son. Come on, off you go.
You don't like me because I always win.
Oh, you know, he really loves Monopoly, doesn't he?
Loves Monopoly. He lives it, talks it, thinks it. You know, I'll bet he even dreams it.
Ooh, what a kid.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
I'm
So, my family, my big, fat Hollywood Mormon family, we had this show. Now, my mom and her sisters were already a famous singing group called the King Sisters. And in 1963, they were asked to do this fundraiser for the Mormon Church up at Brigham Young University. And on a whim, my Aunt Yvonne, Aunt Vonnie, that's her, the little one on the end, standing next to my mom, Alyce. On a whim, she thought it would be fun if they put together an act using the whole family. Now, my siblings and older cousins were already the go-to kids in Hollywood whenever recordings required young vocals. My uncle Alvino Ray was a famous band leader and guitar player. And my dad, Robert Clarke, was an established actor in the 1950s. He was king of the B horror flick.
Earlier this evening, I saw what looked like a small meteor drop into the desert not far from here.
Robert Clarke is the scientist caught between vicious gangsters and the astounding sea monster.
beyond the time barrier.
Come in, Sands Control.
Position 18 feet, 10,000 plus. Position 20, airspeed increasing. I think something's wrong.
I value my freedom more than this.
last little lady there? And that's my grandma. True. You know, it's pretty weird going trick-or-treating as your dad. Listen, a lot of dads, they go to work in a suit. My dad went to work in a suit. Just so happened to be a lizard suit. Totally kaleidoscopic. Dad hated that this was to be his legacy. These goofy, dumb monster movies. So when our show came along, he got this bump in status. He became the voice of our family, which he loved. Anyway, to back up a little bit, Aunt Vonnie, she had this benefit performance thing filmed, and she showed it to a friend of hers over at ABC, and in January of 1965, we were on the air every week with our own show.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the King family. Join the musical family circle of 39 singing kings.
It's clear we're going to get along.
You'll see the littlest kings,
Poor little boy.
in between kings, and queen-sized kings, the famous King sisters.
It's the crown.
The 39 Kings, the world's most talented family of entertainers, every week on ABC.
We replaced the outer limits. We now controlled the horizontal. We now controlled the vertical. Sing snow. Sing snow.
And now, here's the King family.
Sing in the house, sing in the street, sing and you always pack your feet. Sing all day, all night too. Singing is so good for you.
I had a mule and his name was Jack.
He had a mule and his name was Jack.
When I climbed upon his back, the yonder died of a heart attack.
When he climbed upon his back, the yonder died of a heart attack. Sing in the house, sing in the street, sing and you always pack your feet. Sing all day, all night too. Singing is so good for you.
I had a parrot all yellow and green.
He got a pair of yellow
There was always music in our home. Moms rehearsing, going over new charts, fighting over who got to sing the hot note. But inevitably, whenever we got together, someone ended up at the piano, and then the bass came out, and the guitars, and before you know it, the singing would go on into the wee hours of the morning. So my point is, what we portrayed on TV, well, is really no different than our home life. It's just that now we were getting paid for it. I was making $250 a week in 1965 as a 6-year-old. But, you know, Hollywood, one day you're on top of the world, and the next you're on the unemployment line at 8 years old. Collecting your check in your Cub Scout uniform. And, but it's all, you know, it's all about your realm of, you know, your consciousness, you know, what you grew up in. So like, you know, while other kids would be playing house or cops and robbers, we were playing unemployment office. And I still remember the answers. Have you collected work this week? Why, no, I haven't. Would you fill out this form? I would be happy to. Answers to the form are no, none, yes, no, 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 no. I don't know what I had for breakfast, but I got that down. And fame does come with a price. Dad used to give me a quarter to run over to Baskin Robbins, and whenever I would go in there, the owner would say, "Hey, that's him! That's the kid from the show! Oh, sing us that song, please!" Every time I'd go in there. So, finally, oh, all right, I'll do it. So, he picks me up, and he puts me on top of the glass thing, you know, where the 31 flavors are kept. And to the delight of all his customers, I sang this song. I didn't even get a free ice cream out of it. Wow.
Good evening. Welcome to the King Family Show.
Now it's pause for station identification.
Can you just see me on the stage? No, I can see you with a hose in your hand.
We kids went to studio school next door to the Hollywood Palace Theater where we taped our show. And we shared this stage with another show called The Hollywood Palace. It was like ABC's answer to The Ed Sullivan Show. So depending on who was on the bill that week, our studio teachers would say, "All right, kids, it's recess. Rolling Stones are warming up next door. Circus is in town. Adam West is in the parking lot. See if he'll take you for a spin in the Batmobile. But be back in 30 minutes. I was so happy. Oh, boy. My moms, and when I say my moms, I mean all the King sisters, because they could be kind of interchangeable. They weren't stage mothers. No. In fact, it could be said that often they weren't mothers. No, they were too busy with their own performing and their cocktail parties. You could say that we kids were raised by wolves, but that would imply a lot more structure and order. In fact, we would tag along with them sometimes to their jobs, and they'd, leave us in the hotel room, 7, 8 years old, and before they go down to do their set, Mom would say, "All right, honey, order whatever you want from room service, but don't forget to sign for it. Leave a 20% tip in the ice machines at the end of the hall." Geez, Mom, you'd think I'd never been to Vegas before. Mom? Lipstick, go.
I'm falling in love, I am falling in love. I am falling in love. Falling in
Yeah. My moms. Their harmonies were ridiculous. And they could sing anything, blues, jazz, pop. But of all the styles they sang, the one that I liked the best was the bossa nova. I don't know, something about the rhythms and the language. It was like if Spanish and French had a love child, it'd be Portuguese. So while the other kids were, out there rocking to the Beatles, I'd be in my room swaying to the gentle sounds of the girl from Ipanema. I know, right? The King sisters, they were glamour personified. They were dramatic, emotional, eccentric, famous, but most of all, they were just my moms. And don't all mommies sing like that?
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow
and mistletoe and presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
My mom, Alyce, she was the soul of the sisters. Her singing was so spontaneous. She could never lip sync because she could never sing a song the same way twice. And that woman with that voice, when she wasn't on the road, she sang me to sleep every night. And she told me bedtime stories about when she was a little girl growing up in the Depression, and Daddy and Mother would take all the kids camping, and they would sleep out under the stars, and they would take a cow so they had fresh milk. She was 70 years old before her oldest sister informed her, Alyce, we were not camping, we were homeless. But there were other stories too. All right, I'm ready. Okay, let's see. There once was a girl named McGee who was raped by an ape in a tree. The results were quite horrid, all ass and no forehead, 3 balls and a purple goatee. Purple? How does that happen? Okay. Did Mom really tell me dirty limericks at bedtime? No. It was around the pool with cocktails. No filters. In fact, after my dad died, we were hanging out after the service reminiscing, and Mom had already passed away. And my now 85-year-old Aunt Vonnie says to my dad, she says, honey, she says to me, honey, you know, your dad once told me that your mom could never give a good hand job because of her nails. Good to know. In a world where Mormonism and burlesque kaleidoscope. When we hit the road, you add our musicians, school teachers, babysitters, wardrobe people, and it was quite a production. And remember, this is a real family. This is parents and their kids. So, okay, the grown-ups had one perspective of our time together, okay? The teenagers had quite another, but we kids, we little kids, ours was purely visceral. It was on the road that I learned about fireflies. Oh, we don't get those in California. Or how to count the distance between lightning and thunder to know how far away it was. 1 1,000, 2 1,000. Don't get that much in California either. When we weren't on the road, the moms would say, hey, let's skip school and go to the beach. Playing hooky and tagging along with them to one of their gigs was always thought of as much more educational than school. It was like Auntie Mame had 6 sisters, which I didn't mind a bit. Cam, acredito no amor, no tristeza e a flor, e tan sonho sonhar.
perdeu a paz. O amor, o tristeza e a flor se transforma de preso demais. Cam chorou, chorou e tanto sé que o pranto já se acabou.
My loneliness, when you're gone,
when you're gone and I'm all by myself,
and I need your
and I need you.
I just think of you,
I just think of you,
and the thought of you holding me near
makes my loneliness
soon disappear.
Yes, I love you so, and that for me is all I need to know. I
will wait for you.
I will wait for you
Till the sun falls from the sky.
The sky.
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
I will wait for you.
I will wait for you.
Meditating how sweet life will be when you come back to me.
Till you come back to me, come back to me.
Try real life after that. Years later, I would be on my psychiatrist's couch crying out, I used to make it snow every night at 10:15. Why doesn't it do that anymore? When our first series went off the air and I was plopped back into public school, I got so harassed and teased about this show. Hey, aren't you that kid from the King's Family show? What, me? I don't know what you're talking about. Seriously? Because you look just like him? I think I would know if I was on some dumb TV show. Whoa, don't get so torqued about it, you queer babe, because you look just like him. I do not look just like him. And I thought you said you'd never seen it, you fucking homo. Oh, okay. Whether these kids knew it or not, they got me with a bullseye. I've known since I was a little kid that I was different. Hell, I've known since the first time I put on my mom's high heels. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. But how did they know? I mean, what had I done to betray my secret self? Okay, well, this probably didn't help. Pay attention to baby Cam down there in the lower corner there. Hang on. Ashley, could you play this again? It's kind of like my own personal grassy knoll. Okay. Now, you'd think that catching something like this on film would be a one-time thing, right?
Well, wait, there's more.
You remember that benefit performance thing I told you about up at BYU? Well, this is recently uncovered footage, truly, of my theatrical debut.
Hi, Cam. And this is Cam in a sweatshirt to match his mother's dress. We're a little worried about him.
He's going to be a dress designer for our church.
Did you hear what she said? He's going to be a dress designer for our church. Like that's a thing? Oh, nature, nurture, or just chiffon? When I was in school and I would leave the classroom, I would always see this out of the corner of my eye. That's the international sign for fag. Of course, it didn't help that I couldn't catch a ball or play team sports or that our costume designer Bob Mackey should set in motion that I wear short shorts and knee socks till I'm 11 years old. When we were back on the air in 1969 with our second series, all I wanted to do was to fly under the radar. I did not want the flick of my wrist or the lilt of my head to give me away. So, what's the first thing they get me to do on the new show? They give me a love song to sing with my mother. So, when you watch this next clip, remember, I am dying.
Here they are, Alyce and King.
Lovely day. Just in time, just in time, just in time, just in time. Before you came, my time was running low. I was lost, I was lost. The losing dice were tossed, the losing dice were tossed. My bridges all were crossed. No place to go. And now you're here. And now I know just where I'm going. No more doubt or fear. I found my way. Oh, love came just in time. I found you just in time. You changed my lovely life, that lonely life that's lovely. Changed my lonely life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norman and Mrs. Bates. When I entered junior high school, I found something on my schedule called Boys Glee. I had no idea what that was. I didn't even know it had to do with music. But when I met the choir teacher, Mr. Kennedy, I knew that I had met someone really special. Now, he wasn't warm and fuzzy, but he had a passion for the music, and it was infectious. My time with Mr. Kennedy and the kids in these choirs is what got me through this incredibly awkward time. It was the only place in school where I wasn't teased, and a whole new kind of music was opened up to me. Madrigals! What kind of singing is this? Oh, the moving parts, the percussive way the consonants would collide, or just miss each other. I was in heaven. Mr. Kennedy and this music, it brought me out of my shell. I started Oh, designing sets for the school shows and building them myself. I illustrated program covers, I set choreography, doing all this while still having this kaleidoscopic time performing with my family. God. Now I make my living like my mom did, like my dad did, with my voice. Coors, Rocky Mountain freshness. Or, now you can let Rapunzel Barbie's hair tumble down. Rapunzel Ken, Rapunzel Castle, and Rapunzel Pony, each sold separately by Mattel. By Mattel. I do voiceovers. I've done voiceovers for TV and movie promos for video games and cartoons, lots of cartoons. Ninja Turtles, Lion King, thank you. Little Mermaid. Okay, I got to stop here for a second. I got to bring something up, and I hope I don't step on anybody's toes, but I got to ask. Now, remember, I am in the business of speech, so I'm allowed. What is it with so many gay guys and lisping? Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I mean, do you ever wonder where that comes from? Is that some kind of gay ebonics? Because, I mean, that lisping thing, that could get a guy in a lot of trouble. He'd be one of those boys. In fact, in my career, I have had these auditions that would actually ask for a gay kind of read. In fact, there was this one for promos for this Paula Abdul reality train wreck, and the specs literally went out for all American gay. So I auditioned. I got the part. Surprise! So I get to the session, right? And I lay down my first take. Stay tuned. You will not believe what Paula does next.
Okay, great. We got that. Could you do another take where you pull it back a little bit?
Sure. Stay tuned. You won't believe what Paula does next.
All right, loving that. Can we pull it back a little bit more?
Sure. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay. Till finally we ended up with, stay tuned. You won't believe what Paula does next. Turns out they didn't want one of those boys after all. And ironically, it turns out that I was one of those sibilant boys growing up, but I didn't know it. Not until one day I'm at home and I'm watching a rerun of one of our shows, and I see this.
Ah, yes, but as Shakespeare once said, life is but a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
Life is but a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. Well, duh. No wonder I got so teased. Well, this is an easy fix. I just needed to learn to place my S's somewhere else. So I started experimenting. I started placing my S's here. Oh, Miss Sussman, the answer to that question is Mississippi. One day my dad even comes up to me and he kind of like, just grabs me by the jaw and he says, honey, what are you doing? thought to myself, just trying to blend in.
All creatures of our God and King, lift up your voice and with us sing, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
In Sunday school in the Mormon Church, we were taught that in order to live for eternity with Heavenly Father, being good wasn't quite good enough. You also had to be married to a woman. Ah, crap. I was no more than 11 years old, and I knew that unless something changed deep down inside me, I had just been informed I wasn't getting into heaven. See, I had homosexual tendencies. Well, that's what we called him in my day. Homosexual tendencies. So, from that moment on, I made it my mission to become attracted to girls. But how? You know, I'm thinking, maybe I'll grow out of it. I'm 13, 14, and I'm thinking, maybe I'll grow out of it. I prayed, I fasted. I actually made a deal with God. I told him that I would sacrifice anything if he made it so that I liked girls, so that I could one day marry one and get into heaven. This is what he wanted, right? Father, please tell me what it is that you want. Can you do wrong and live right? Can you live long without light? Can there be a bright tomorrow in a careless choice today? Heavenly Father, have you anything to say? Can blind truth ever be smart? Can you find truth and lose heart? Am I catching on too slowly in a world that moves too fast? Heavenly Father, is there something that will last? Is it always day or night? Why not another way? In between the black and white, a little spot of gray. Why do things look so much fun if in the end they hurt? Virtue in comparison. Just one little question. Does it really work? Oh, I feel strange and so lost. How the winds change and bring the frost. Does your voice still warm the coldest heart? I'm certain that it must. Heavenly Father, you're a man a guy can trust. When I was 18, I got a call from a choreographer to go be one of Connie Stevens' boys in her Vegas act. I was so jazzed. I didn't even have to audition. I ran to tell my mom, and she said without even turning around, "You don't want to be a chorus boy." Ouch. There was something about the way she said chorus boy. She might as well have said, "You don't want to be one of those boys." Or maybe she just meant I was too good for the chorus. I don't know. Point is, I turned it down, rationalizing that I wasn't going to be available very long anyway, because at the age of 19, young men in the church are expected to go on a mission and preach the gospel. Now, there would be interview after interview after interview to make sure that you were pure and worthy to go. And I knew they would ask about homosexuality. So, now stay with me here. If I lied to the church leaders about my homosexual tendencies, God would know that I was a big fat liar and the deal about my hetero makeover would be off. If I told them the truth, they would know that I was a big fat homo and the deal about my mission would be off. This was a lose-lose situation. I mean, if they turned me down, what would I tell my friends? What excuse would I come up with for my family?
Honesty is the best policy. You have to tell them about your homosexual tendencies.
Hey, Leonardo, but what if they say I can't go? I will be so embarrassed. It'll humiliate the family.
I hear you, brother.
Hey, Freddy.
I'm a ferret. My best friend's a rooster. We're supposed to be mortal enemies. We live together, for crying out loud. Talk about taboo. I tell you, when he found out, old MacDonald had a cow. E-I-E-I-O. Just tell him you failed your physical. Tell him you have flat fins.
Well, anatomically, it doesn't quite work that way in my species, Flounder. Here, let me try something. Homosexual tendencies be gone. You have no power here.
You gotta tell him the truth. Turtles fight with honor.
What's going on here?
Oh, let me tell it. Cammy has homosexual tendencies.
Geez, Freddy, do you even know what that is?
Yes. No.
Oh dear, I think I had homosexual tendencies once. I licked and licked for days, and they still would not go away. Listen, my little pony, or whatever you are, this is no laughing matter.
Ooh, liquid snake.
I'm a greyhound. Yes, keep telling yourself that.
Stop fighting, everyone. You're making me very, 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 very sad.
Oh, hey, Was, sorry, I didn't know you were still up.
Well, who can sleep with all this racket? I just wanted to wish you a rainbow. And I don't mean one of those bullshit faggoty ones either. I mean a real one, with the colors in the right order.
This isn't funny. They could excommunicate me.
You don't know that.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to take that chance. Because, see, the church and my family, they're my life. And they're all about marriage. I mean, between the 4 King sisters, they did it 9 times.
Focus, Cam. I think you know what you've got to do.
Turtle power. So, in my final interview, I chose to... You tell them about my homosexual tendencies. See, I had never acted upon them, ever. They said that my confessing this was doing the right thing. But then they said that my honesty would make me open to receive God's inspiration. They gave me the thumbs up to go. I was shocked. And they said that I would come home magically straight. And they gave me a blessing. This was of Aladdin's lamp proportions. Cameron Arthur Clarke, I lay my hands upon your head to give you a blessing. Your heavenly Father is well pleased, and as you keep his commandments, he will bless you with all the righteous desires of your heart. What manner of power is this?
Ever since I was a boy, it's always been my dream to be on the first string, playing for a winning team. Thought I knew what winning was, thought I played real hard. Now I I face the greatest test to run the longest yard. Oh,
In my day, when you arrived at the Mission Training Center, you were given a 700-page book of lessons that you were supposed to memorize in your new language, mine being Spanish. I was being sent to Argentina. Now, you were doing this phonetically for the most part. I have never been good at memorizing, phonetically or otherwise, and the harder I tried, well, the less I could do it. One night, there is a meeting with the president of the mission, me and the other 2,000 missionaries there, and from the pulpit, he says, "If you're having trouble memorizing your lessons, it's because there's something you haven't cleared up with the Lord." What more could I confess? I have never had a drink. I have never had a cigarette. Okay, I have never played an honest game of Marco Polo. And, okay, there was the time I cut all the boobs out of my brother's Playboys. Norman? Yes, Mother! For me, going on a mission was like 2 years in a Turkish prison, and not in a good way. I was miserable. I was homesick the whole time. See, back in those days, you could get mail from your loved ones, but you were not supposed to speak to them the entire time that you were gone. Now, when it came time to leave the Mission Training Center in Provo, Utah, and head to Argentina, we got word that we were going to have a 4-hour layover in Los Angeles. And my dad, he got special permission from the church to get a hotel room. And all my friends and family came down to say goodbye again. Mom and the sisters were performing at Disneyland, and it was killing her that she couldn't make it. And when it came time for her to sing her solo, Autumn Leaves, she could hardly get through it. It reminded her so much of me, of us. It's probably a good thing that she wasn't there.
The autumn leaves of red and gold, I see your face, the summer kisses, those sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall.
When I arrived in Argentina, I started counting the months, the days, the nanoseconds till I could get home. See, my mission experience wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were there to save souls, which we were. But overshadowing that, there was this numbers game. It was about who could baptize the most people. In fact, there was this thing called the BAP Club. That was short for baptism. It was this elite group of missionaries that had the best numbers. And every month, this list would come out ranking everyone's success rate. And there would be prizes for those at the top of the list, like a Jonathan Livingston Seagull poster. What? Oh my heck! Me? Oh, yes! No! There was such a feeding frenzy to be in this club that there were times when on the last day of the month at the 11th hour, literally, a ladder would be hoisted up against the wall of the chapel because it was closed and it was locked up. And that's where the baptismal font was. See, this was no Catholic sprinkling. This was full immersion. And the would-be converts were herded up and over the wall to be counted for this month's tally. Geez, Elder Sorensen, is this really necessary? Are you kidding? These people need the gift of baptism sooner than later. What's the matter, Elder Clarke? Don't you feel the Spirit? Oh, there it is. Sorry. For a moment, I thought it was gas. These guys, they were so weird. They were like Stepford wives, except with white shirts, ties, and bicycles. But I hung in there. I mean, I did my tour of duty, my 730 days. See, there were promises made. I was coming home magically straight. I was getting into heaven.
Tell the coach I'm sorry. Kiss the girls goodbye. I won't be gone forever, but I won't be back till I've given it my all, my soul, my heart, my mind, and my. I'm going out to find a field so wide.
When I got home from Argentina, still full of the missionary zeal, I got a call from my brother Lex asking me to join him in recording an album of missionary songs. It was 1979, and God said, "Let there be disco." And unlike my mother, I can lip sync.
Missionary, missionary, trekking through the rain. Now that you see how it can be, are you glad you came? When you're cold and tired, does your spirit's fire seem to flicker and dim with the night? Pin the candles bright, 'cause you know that you're right, and others will follow your light.
Well, certain that I was now a raging heterosexual, I started dating up a storm. Dana, Renee, Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer. She's just not the right one. I lied. I went to see the bishop. Hi. You promised me that if I served the Lord, if I went on a mission, I would come home and I wouldn't have this homosexual disease anymore. I did everything I was told to do. Oh, Cam, you just need to be spending more time with young ladies. You need to be at BYU. Plenty of eligible girls up there. And he reminded me about the story of Job in the Old Testament. All his trials and tribulations and how he never gave up. Oh. Okay. I am so on to you, Heavenly Father. You think I'm a quitter? Well, game on, God. I will see you at Brigham Young University. Well, there are 10,000 eligible girls at BYU, and to get over my homosexuality, I decided to date as many as possible. Yee-haw! Oh, give us a kiss, Cam. Oh, I would, but this is only our, 7th date. With good time management and taking advantage of all the free activities on campus, I set a goal to take out 12 different girls each week. One hardly knows where to begin. Do you focus on blondes for a month and move on? Or do you start with California girls and sweep eastward? My, how special you look tonight. Why, thank you, Cam. No, thank you. Would you like to get some air? No! And having spent 2 years in South America on my mission, a whole new bevy of beauties was opened up to me. Ay, Cameron, como me encanta estar contigo. Ay, Claudia, ojalá que podamos pasar muchas noches igualmente contentos. The thing about serial dating is that I did not have to get involved. This was an experiment, after all, like being an underarm sniffer in a perfume factory. My mom was ecstatic I was dating so much. I was exhausted. There was another reason that I chose to go to BYU. When I was about 16, 17, I had read in a Mormon magazine that homosexuality was second only to murder. And they recommended a therapist off campus who practiced shock treatment. I'm sorry, I mean aversion therapy. I tucked this article away, never thinking I'd have to resort to it, but resort to it I did. Let me make one thing clear here. My parents didn't send me. They didn't even know that I was doing it. I sent myself. Hey, Dr. Collins. Yeah, I got the pornographic slides right here. These are the naked pictures of the girls, and these are the naked pictures of the guys. Where's the projector? No, I get it. When you show a picture of the girls, there won't be a shock. And when you show a picture of the guys, there will be. Or maybe not. Or maybe it'll be short or long, just to keep me on my toes. Yeah.
Let's keep smiling. Let's keep laughing. Well, let's keep happy. Ho, 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 ha. Let's keep smiling. Let's keep laughing. Well, let's keep happy. Ho, 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 ho.
Yep, me too. I'm feeling really good about this. Yep. Same time next week. And the week after that. And the week after that. And the week after that. Until finally, I realized I'd had enough college. When I got back to LA, I hooked up with another Mormon shrink, and I told him I still wasn't cured. He said, "Oh, Cam, I could be gay if I want to. I just don't want to." Maybe you don't want it bad enough. Okay. Well, I guess being strapped down like Frankenstein's monster didn't prove I wanted it bad enough. It's alive! It's alive! It's still gay, but it's alive! Oh, one day I was heading to this callback for a commercial, and I'm walking down La Cienega, and this handsome guy with these piercing blue eyes pulls up. Hey, need a lift? What? Need a ride? Yeah. I mean, no, I'm just going to this audition, so, okay. Well, here's my card. Give me a call sometime. After that audition, I didn't call him. No, I went straight over to the address on that card and I knocked on the door. Hi. Oh. So, I finally turned my tendencies into action, but
Shut the front door. You did not.
Open the back door, I did, but the only thing left for you to do was to hurl yourself off the nearest cliff in shame and guilt. You are such a drama queen.
He did not do that.
Afraid so.
Afraid not. Quiet, everyone. The only thing he felt guilty about was that he didn't feel guilty at all.
Geez, can I tell it? The only thing I felt guilty about was that I didn't feel guilty at all. Simba, that's just what I was going to say.
I know. Wait for it. It's all part of the circle of life.
And for the first time in my life, I felt free and alive and authentic. See, this man, he was so kind and so gentle and hot. I went to see the bishop. Hey, listen, I am sure that this isn't a phase. And at 23, I certainly am not going to grow out of it. I'm gay. Oh, come on, Cam. A Greek god like you? You're just shy. Listen, your Heavenly Father has blessed me with the gift of discernment. And I know you are not gay. Okay. Well, first of all, he didn't know much about the Greeks. And second of all, all of a sudden, I saw everything so clearly that this misguided, but well-meaning, but dangerously ignorant man knew nothing about the gods, Greek or otherwise, when it came to me. None of them did, nor had they ever. I left his office, and I never looked back. It was time to move on. In fact, I decided to try my luck on the Great White Way. I ran to tell my parents, hey, guess what, guys? I'm moving to New York City. Oh, that's great. Have a wonderful time. Really? I mean, my parents had been in the business 40 years each. My dad was on Broadway, for crying out loud. And I got no advice. So, with this no advice, I decided to give New York a month. Maybe 6 weeks if things went a little more slowly than I'd anticipated. See, I would go to these calls and I'd do great on the singing and get asked to come back for the choreography, but to say I was a singer-dancer isn't exactly the truth. See, there was this subcategory called singers who move well. That was more me. I'd go to these calls and I'd be shown the dance steps and I'd say, "Hey, Mr. Choreographer, where are the steps for the singers who move well? Hey, sexy guy in the cut-off t-shirt, leg warmers, and jazz pants, where are the steps for the singers who move well?"
Step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Again, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Again, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Again, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. That connects with step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Cam, pull it back. Again, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Again, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch.
All right, thank you, everybody. Cam.
Yeah?
Can you stay for a moment, please?
Yeah.
Any Broadway shows?
Nope.
Off-Broadway?
Yeah, nope.
Bus and truck?
Bus and truck. A bus and a truck. A bus and a truck. You know, I don't think I know that show.
About the chorus.
The chorus? Yee. The chorus. Ah. Oh, you know what? That is so sweet of you to offer that. But here's the thing. I am here for the leads, so...
It wasn't an offer.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
You know, I could sing Corner of the Sky, 16
Thank
bars.
you, Cam.
All right. Okay. Good luck with the show. 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 Oh. When I was in LA, I met a man who was the artistic director for the Amundsen Theater. We were having this marvelous affair. At least I thought we were. Hey, I'm going to be in New York while you're there. We'll get together. What? New York City with my not boyfriend. He said to meet him at the something bar in the meat packing district. So I put on my 2 Lacoste shirts, collars up, tied my peach velour sweater over my shoulders, stepped into my pistachio green topsiders, and hopped in a cab.
You sure you want to go down there?
Yeah, I'm meeting a friend at a club. So we started heading west. I start hearing tugboats. So I get out of the cab and I enter the club and I finally find my not boyfriend who graces me with about 5 minutes of his time. I stood there for about a half hour with my ginger ale. All I wanted to do was to leave. So I went outside. Not a cab in sight. It was pitch dark. So I started walking. And all of a sudden, this big stretch limo pulls up and starts slowing down and driving alongside me. Hey, need a ride? Oh, boy, do I ever. I have no idea where I am. I'm not from around here. I'm staying with a friend from college where there's light Well, hop in. Thanks. So, I hop in. This limo driver is the size of a mountain. And he leans over and he says, "Don't you ever get into a car with a stranger again. You hear me, boy? Listen, I'm between fares. I'll take you home." And I went home. My family, we always had Sunday night dinners together. My parents, my brothers, all the grandkids. Mom had this table that sat 14, and we still had to have a kiddie table. We would talk long after the meal was done, and one night the conversation turned to the topic of unconditional love. The youngest generation asking the older ones, "What would you do if I did this? Would you still love me? What if I told you this? Would you love me then? What if I told you I was gay?" And then my father spoke. "Cam, I am so sorry you've had to go through this all by yourself. And the others, within a heartbeat, they were on my side of the table, touching me, holding me, loving me. What manner of power is this?" Okay, this isn't to say that it was all smooth sailing from here on out. My mom, she did have to go see a shrink about it. She had to make sure she hadn't caused it. You know, the whole domineering mother thing. Took her one session. Phew, not my fault. Go, Mom. Oh, but you know what? Here's the thing. We did butt heads a little bit, but the thing is, it takes two. Yeah? I had 20 years to get used to this idea, and I expected her to be on board by breakfast. But once that gay genie was out of the bottle, there were no secrets. I was out. And after a while, even my fans got wind of it, and it became quite the topic of conversation online. So when you see this next bit, I just want you to know I did not make this stuff up. Totally kaleidoscopic.
What I didn't know yesterday morning is this. Leonardo is a gay Mormon. He-Man is a gay Mormon. I can't imagine anyone being very surprised about He-Man being gay.
I know, right? I mean, really, all the man wears is furry underwear.
Leonardo is a bit of a surprise. For all I know, all 4 turtles are gay.
I'll tell you one thing for sure. Neither one of them got into BYU dressed like that.
Shut up. Cam Clarke is gay?
What the fuck, anarchist girl? Are you like 5 years old?
Why don't you mind your own business? Apple, cat, BTW. I wasn't talking to you. If you don't like what I write, then you can kiss my black ass.
Seriously? Cam Clarke is actually homosexual in real life? Huh, he doesn't sound it. Although Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid does sound a bit gay.
You know that's a stereotype, right? They are just as diverse as straight people are.
What's so surprising? He is a voice actor. They need to be able to change their voice. Also, I've met him in person. He's a nice guy.
He's a homo? Proof.
All of you, shut the fuck up! Google it! He's gay.
I get fan mail from all over the world, from kids, from gay kids and gay young adults who are scared to death that their parents will disown them, that their friends won't speak to them. But they are not afraid to talk to the guy behind He-Man and Leonardo and Simba. I guess they think that if a gay guy can be a superhero or king of the jungle, then maybe they're not so bad after all. About 10 years after junior high school, I found out that my choir teacher, Mr. Kennedy, had died of this new disease they were calling AIDS. It was the early 80s. He was the first person I knew to get the disease. A bunch of his former students, we sang at his service. Every year, he would record an album of all the songs the kids had sung. After I got the news, I dug out those old albums. It was just like being there.
Cam, doctor's ready for you.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Hey, Dr. Wolfsburg. Nope, not much going on, not since I saw you on Monday. Oh. Oh. Everyone knows that they're going to die. But not everyone has the luxury of knowing that it could be sooner rather than later. Your senses, they can become magnified to kaleidoscopic proportions. Sing, snow. Sing, snow. See, back in my
day, it were a death sentence. I had so few T cells, helper cells we called them, I could name them: Shadrach, Abinadi, and Jehoshaphat.
I seriously doubted that I was going to make it to my 40th birthday. But when that milestone did arrive, I decided to throw myself a farewell birthday party. Nobody knew that this is what I was doing. Few people knew that I was HIV positive, and no one knew that I was saying goodbye. But there was no sentiment left unsaid, and there was music. Songs I'd chosen. It was like getting to plan and attend your own funeral. What? See, even in death, I controlled the horizontal. I controlled the vertical.
And then what happened?
What do you think happened, you silly rabbit?
I'm a bear, you idiot.
Yes, keep telling yourself that. He died so that all creatures of the universe, heterosexual and those with homosexual tendencies, could live in peace and harmony.
He did not die. He's standing right there. God, He-Man, you were such a dick. Because I was feeling very, very, very
sad. I know.
Well, whatever happened to Shadrach, Abinadi, and Josephina?
Jehoshaphat? My helper cells? They're doing okay. Yeah, so far they are living happily ever after. And they have a lot of friends.
And what are their names?
Their names?
Candy, Raven, Carolyn, Don, Donna, Jim, Hazel, Reese, Alvino, Bob, Bonnie, Kathy, John, Lex, Tina.
If these old walls could speak, the things that they remember well, parties and carols and dinner bells, a family in love dancing cheek to cheek, rooms full of laughter. If these old walls could speak, if hallowed halls, oh, if hallowed halls could talk, these would have a tale, I know. Rain coming down and mistletoe, and children looking for the gifts they seek from floor to rafter. If these old halls could speak, they would tell you of the memories that I visit day to day. And in my heart I'm headed homeward, and I'll never go away. If these old walls could speak.
Save yourself a marriage, you're a bore. If you don't save yourself a marriage, you're a horrible person. If you won't have a drink, then you're a prude. But they'll call you a drunk as soon as you down the first one. If you won't go to church, you'll go to hell. If you're the first one on the front row, you're a self-righteous son of can't win for losing. You might as well face it. Just cause you can't beat them don't mean you should join them. So make lots of noise, kiss lots of boys, kiss lots of girls if that's something you're into. Cause the straight and narrow gets a little too straight. Roll out a joint or not and follow your arrow wherever it points. Follow your arrow wherever it points. Say what you think, love who you love, cause you just got so many trips round the sun, and you only live once. So make lots of noise, kiss lots of boys, kiss lots of girls if that's something you're into. Cause the straight and narrow gets a little too straight. Roll out a joint or not and follow your arrow wherever it points. Follow your arrow wherever it points. It's getting to the end of the road of this, and it's been a marvelous ride. First of all, I have a question. Please raise your hand if you know me. Please raise your hand if you don't know me. Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Who says Little Theater is dead in Los Angeles? Oh, what a ride, guys. Thank you so much. I want to introduce my loving family. Kings, please stand up. And Lex, please stay up. My big brother Lex wrote the music in the show. And I just want you to know that, forgive me for indulging me, but it's my last weekend and you could just sit there. Not for long. That the song to Heavenly Father got me through my mission. And I thank you for that. Okay, good night. Get out of here. Go away.